What's up, guys? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening. This is Jeff Michael. You are on Sports with Balls. Welcome into the show, man. Decided to do an early show on Mondays because I'm actually just going to do this every day now because there's so much that goes on. It's NFL season. Why not just do a daily show instead of you guys getting us every single week at Christian's Tailgate live on, let's say, Monday or Thursdays? Now you're going to get me every day, Sports with Balls. Just type in Sports with Balls wherever you get your podcast. It'll be on there, all shows, every single day. This is number 227. But first one we're doing on a Monday morning. So let's get to it. Man, what a weekend, bro. What a weekend. Apologies to the state of Colorado, I guess. Man. Colorado is having a bad Monday morning. Colorado Buffs got spanked by Oregon. Talk about that in a little bit. The Denver Broncos had a record-setting weekend. So there's that yesterday. Got outscored by 50, 70-20. And the kicker is Miami didn't even have Waddle, guys. Like, Miami is for real. I said this on numerous other shows and my show that Miami, if Tua Tagovailoa stays upright, stays healthy, he's the MVP of the league. Too many weapons, way too fast. Now, let's see when they face a team like San Francisco, somebody like that. But man, what a team they have there in Miami. Excited about that. Dallas Cowboys. What do you say? What do you say about the Dallas Cowboys? Where are they now? I don't even know. I have no idea what to think, who the Dallas Cowboys are at this point. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. The press conferences this week are going to be phenomenal. Mike McCarthy calling plays. Was it Mike McCarthy? Was it Dak Prescott? You had Micah Parsons coming after the game saying, "Oh, we're playing down to our competition." What? This is an NFL team. Both these teams are NFL teams. Arizona actually played great last weekend, and now they played good again this weekend. This is a team we're all expecting to tank. Who knows? They got a win under their belts. So you got that. We'll get into that in a little bit. Houston Texans may have found a quarterback. C.J. Stroud in first 3 games looks better than any other quarterback out there, rookie-wise. So I don't want to over-exaggerate C.J. Stroud and get too hyped up if I'm the Houston Texans. We all saw what happened to Deshaun Watson, who actually played pretty decent yesterday for the first time in a while. So, look, Houston, I get it. You're excited. We've seen this before. We've been down this road before with the Houston Texans. So let's see what happens. But they got to win. They have the same record as a lot of other teams in the NFL, and we expected the Houston Texans to be tanking as well as the Arizona Cardinals, who both got a victory yesterday. Man. Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift. Match made in heaven, right? The Chiefs crushed the Bears, absolutely annihilating the Bears. And at this point now, the Bears, the Broncos, a couple of other teams are now at the bottom of the barrel in the NFL. Chiefs look like they are back on pace. And, of course, the top story in the NFL being the Chiefs and Taylor Swift. The Swifties are now trying to figure out how to play football. See how that works out. Do you think that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is going to last? Like, is that the deal? Like, are they going to last? Interesting. That is an interesting matchup because she's not too – Travis Kelce's a big man. Taylor Swift is tiny. Walter Payton's son got a great video shot of them walking out of the stadium yesterday, and that was interesting. So if you haven't seen it, go to Twitter. Walter Payton's son on there. He's a nice reporter, man. Good for him. Good for him. New York Jets have a problem, a huge problem. The New York Jets. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm just gonna should they tank? Should the Jets tank? They are bad. They are very, very bad offensively, and which in turn is going to really, really, really affect their defense, which is a great defense. So the Jets look terrible. We'll get into the standings in the NFL. We'll get into Monday Night Football. Got some bets coming up. We'll talk about those in a little bit. The Major League Baseball. Houston Astros, 3-7 in the last 10 games, and now 2.5 games out of first place in their division and a half game away from being out of the playoffs. And they are about to open up a series versus the Seattle Mariners, who are the team right behind them. Woo! AL playoff race, NL playoff race. We'll get into both of those. And the Colorado Buffaloes. Woo! Man! They got USC next. What's that spread going to be? The Oregon spread was 21. What is the spread going to be when Colorado plays USC next weekend? And they got a tough schedule coming up. So looks like Colorado Buffs now are back to normal. Well, yeah, let's just say back to normal. That's right. They were overhyped. Not overhyped. I'm sorry. Bad word. They were hyped up. But now they have come crashing back down to earth. And now Colorado's Colorado. And let's see what Deion's got. The University of Texas moves up to number 3, beating Oklahoma. Notre Dame goes down to Ohio State in a very low-scoring, weird game. We'll talk about college here in a little bit as well. All right, so before we get going, I want to thank Christian's Tailgate. We have our live show there once, if not twice, a week in the evening. So I want to thank Christian Tailgate. 4 or 5 Houston area locations. Go to christianstailgate.com or go visit one of their 5 Houston area locations. 40 televisions, incredible food, man. Go there for lunch. Their food is phenomenal and a great place to watch your sporting events. Go get some drinks. They've got beer pong going on. They've got karaoke that goes on. And I'm pretty sure they're the home of one of their locations is home to the Buffalo Bills for their games, and one of their locations is home to the Dallas Cowboys. One of their locations. Probably wasn't doing too well yesterday. Christian's Tailgate. Also want to thank WestonCG.com, Wes Dunn over at WestonCG.com, 832-534-2374. Roofing, fences, outdoor construction, anything you need. Go visit WestonCG.com or Wes Dunn. Give him a call, 832-534-2374. Also, Ho Buzz right here. I got this out here. Washington Ho, Tony Busby. Go to hobuzzco.com. It's an incredible THC infused seltzer. You guys go in there. Go grab some. I actually have some all the time now. It's a very, very chill thing. It's no alcohol. It is THC infused seltzer. It's actually very, very good. So go to hobuzzco.com or give them a call, 832-929-4563 or Logan at hobuzz.com. All right, let's get into some of these NFL games. Yesterday was an incredible game. I hope you guys all won your fantasy football leagues. If you did not, it wasn't because of the Miami Dolphins. It wasn't because of Keenan Allen. There's a few other guys that have phenomenal games, but those are last night, Devontae Adams. Woo! Incredible football game and a losing effort. The Vegas Raiders are not that good of a football team. And if I'm correct, I think the under in Las Vegas at that stadium has hit over 60% of the time since they moved there. So if you're a gambling man, which we all know I am, and we'll get into some bets, some Monday night bets in a little bit, take the under for those Vegas games. It just seems like the under over there hits 60, 70% of the time, and it's crazy. All right, let's get into the Dallas Cowboys, guys. Look, Kevin Anthony already commenting. Thank you, Kevin, for paying attention to the show, watching the show. By the way, thank you guys that are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all of the live watching that you guys are doing. I appreciate it. And if you have missed any of the show, go to Sports with Balls on your podcast arena. All the shows are there. This one will be up right after I am done. Dallas Cowboys getting shocked by the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, whose fault is this? Is this the Dallas Cowboys' fault? Is this the Cardinals playing good football? Is this Dallas? Dallas had blown away the Giants and the Jets. I mean, embarrassing to where people were like, this, and of course, Cowboy fan, going to the Super Bowl. They're going to the bowl. It's our year. Ah! And then they go to Arizona. They get outscored 3-9 in the first, 7-12 in the second, and kick 2 field goals in the second half of the football game and lose 28-16, and they're 2-1. The Cardinals are 1-2. Dak Prescott, 25 of 40, 249, 1 TD, and 1 interception. Tony Pollard, 23 carries, 122 yards. Josh Dobbs, Arizona quarterback, 17 of 21, 189, and 1 touchdown, but no turnovers. Huge. You can't turn the ball over in NFL games, and he's just being very efficient. But the Dallas Cowboys are 2-1, and now let the rumblings begin of whose fault this is. Are we looking at Mike McCarthy? Are we looking at Dak Prescott? Are we looking at Diggs' injury being a huge problem for the Cowboys, where a lot of people said, look, they can easily overcome this. Dallas Cowboys can easily overcome an injury to a cornerback because of their front five. Nope. Cardinals ran all over the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, literally ran all over the Cowboys. It was an embarrassing game if you're a Cowboy fan. Look, in the business of content, absolutely love this. Cowboys winning, great. Cowboys losing, better. Sorry. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Dak Prescott and that offense is very lackluster. The defense won the first 2 games. We know that. It's not like the offense was out there putting up 3, 4, 5 touchdowns a game. You know, it's not like CeeDee Lamb was going for 150 every game and 2 touchdowns. He's not Justin Jefferson. He may be Justin Jefferson. He may be. He may be Jamar Chase. He just doesn't have the quarterback to get him the ball. The Arizona rushing, 222 yards. 222 yards, guys, against that Dallas front five that was supposed to be Super Bowl bound. Ready to go. Dallas Cowboys, 185 yards rushing. A lot of junk rushes there. It just, man. Dak Prescott sacked twice. 25 of 40 for 249, 1 TD, 1 interception. Just not enough. Not enough. Michael Gallup, leading receiver, 92 yards. The Arizona receiving core. Listen to this. So Dallas loses Diggs, right? They only gave up 189 yards receiving. Not even 200 yards. Michael Wilson had a 69. You take away that Michael Wilson 69-yard bomb, and the Cowboys barely gave up 100 yards receiving. That secondary did their job. They got ran all over. Arizona controlled the clock, took the ball out of Dallas's hands, which is very strange. Very, very strange. Cowboys should have been better. They got the Patriots next week. And what now seems like an interesting game to watch. After the Cowboys got beat by what many consider is the worst team in the NFL. And a tanking job. Doing a tanking job on purpose to go for the top 2 draft picks in the NFL next year and get their quarterback. Now, 1-2, beat one of the best teams in the NFL. Is Kyler Murray coming back? He posted a picture of his legs the other day, so it seems like he's on track to maybe come back. Does Kyler Murray come back and lead this Arizona Cardinals team to 6-7 wins? Man. And the Cowboys. Kevin Anthony just put on here 9-8 record at best. Whoa. Is that the Cowboys record? 9 wins? 2 days ago, the Cowboys, Cowboy fan would have said 13 wins. They have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. They do. Let's just be honest. And now Cowboy fan says 9 wins. We'll see. New England up next. What happens? What happens if the Cowboys lose to New England and they go 2-2? Woo. Can't wait. I cannot wait. All right, moving on. There was an absolute beatdown that went on in the NFL. In fact, historic beatdown. 70 points scored. Won by 50. The Miami freaking Dolphins. There's so many stats to this game that I can't even like. It's hard to process. They had a 300-yard passer. They had a 150-yard receiver. They had a 200-yard rusher. Insane. Insane. They scored 14, then 21, then 14, then 21. First, second, third, fourth. 70 points. And I don't know what the bigger story is here. Is the bigger story that Miami is unbelievably talented, or that the Broncos are in a major situation? They're paying Russell Wilson and Sean Payton $370 million, and they're 0-3. And folks, they're not a good 0-3. This is a bad football team. Russell Wilson is not the savior. I said from the beginning of the season that Russell Wilson would be out by week 8. And here we are, 0-3. It may be sooner. Sean Payton visibly upset after the game, asked by reporters about the game. He was not having it. He was upset. I would be too. It's a bad football team. Sean Payton is the savior in Denver. Russell Wilson trying to get back to his old form. Guys, that's not happening. Sean Payton needs a quarterback. Russell Wilson's not the guy. Sean Payton's going to get frustrated. We saw it before the season even started. Said you can't be kissing babies. That whole deal. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting in Denver. Look, the Walmart people bought them in the offseason. Denver Broncos are owned by Walmart now. They get a lot of money, but they're paying $370 million to a head coach and a quarterback that are not producing at all. Like this is a bad football team. I know a lot of people in Denver. I'm a semi-Bronco fan, and it's just not there. It is not there. They got blown out historically by the Miami Dolphins. And Miami could have put up more. They actually held back on the Broncos. That is crazy. Insane. Dolphins 3-0. Broncos 0-3. Let's look at who do the Broncos have next. Chicago. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? In Chicago next week, the 0-3 Bears, and we'll get to that game in a minute, take on the 0-3 Broncos. If this game ends in a tie, who's getting fired first? Man. Who's going to watch that game? The 0-3 Broncos are at the 0-3 Chicago Bears next week. It's not a primetime game, guys. If it was, I'm sure they'd try to way to flex this thing out, but it's at high noon Central Time. Woo! Is there a line out on that game yet? My goodness. Oh, geez, the 0-3 Broncos and the 0-3 Bears. Yeah, guys, look, sorry Bronco fan. Sorry Bronco fan and sorry Bear fan. Teams are not good. Not good at all. On the flip side of that, welcome to the party, Miami. Wow. That team looks as good as San Francisco. Looks as good as Buffalo. Well, Buffalo this week. Looks as good as any team in the NFL. I'll put Miami up there with anybody right now. And we're not even talking about their defense yet. If their defense gets any better, look, man, you might have a Miami-San Francisco Super Bowl. Wow. $25,000 a ticket for that game. Sign me up. I need to apply for credentials. Somebody out there send me some credentials. I get this show over to the Super Bowl. We'll have a blast there. New England next. Kevin Anthony says New England next at the 49ers, at Chicago Rams, at Eagles later in the season. That's for the Cowboys. Well, yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. Look, Cowboys are game-by-game basis now. We know that. The Cowboys are a game-by-game team. It's not let's look forward. Cowboys are a let's look now team. So there you go. Miami Dolphins are not. Miami Dolphins are let's look forward team. Let's look at the schedule way, way ahead because that team is good. Guys, they didn't even have Jalen Waddle. We forget that. They did not even have Jalen Waddle on the field. That is one of their top weapons. Watch, next week they'll score 18 points. The NFL was drunk this weekend, man. Wow, NFL. You got to love it. This is why they are the #1 league in America. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. You never know what's going to happen. Absolutely don't. And including this next game we'll talk about. The Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville's supposed to be odds-on favorite easily to win that division. And the Texans whooped their ass. It was 17-0 at half, folks. And this game almost looked over. C.J. Stroud was having fun out there. C.J. Stroud looks like the real deal in Houston. Houston Texans fans have a glimmer of hope over there. Bryce Young's hurt. Look, now, you guys in Houston can thank Lovie Smith now. Before, it was like you know what? You lost the last game you won the last game to the Chicago Bears and ruined our #1 pick, who would have been Bryce Young. Instead, you got the #2 pick now and C.J. Stroud, who looks to be an NFL quarterback. He's breaking NFL records right now for the first 3 games of the season. He has over 900 yards. They got a receiving core that's young and talented. That kid, Dell, kid looks good. Nico Collins looks good. They're headed by DeMeco Ryans, a defensive mastermind. So if they get that right, Texans could be a problem. They're 1-2 and handed it to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were supposed to be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody in that division. Texans are tied for the lead in that division. Just saying. Now, again, this is the NFL. They crashing down. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I like this young. I do. And I'm in Houston, and everybody knows I'm not the biggest, massive Houston fan there is, Texans fan. The organization has really, really made some bad decisions, but they look like they're on track. Houston Texans look like they're doing pretty well. Let's see if they can keep it up. Over under Houston Texans wins. What, 7? Right now, I'd take the over. If it's 6, I'm taking the over. 7, pushing it. 6.5. What are you doing at 6.5 with the Houston Texans win total? I have to look that up. We'll get to some bets here in a little bit. All right, Taylor Swift was in attendance, as every single person on the planet knows by now. Her and Travis Kelce apparently are a thing. Patrick Mahomes had to get to the ball to him. And look, he didn't have to get the ball to him. The ball was going to Travis Kelce anyways. This was a blowout. They actually pulled Patrick Mahomes in the third quarter after, I think, 1 series, because this game was so out of hand. They scored 27 points in the second quarter, took a 34-0 lead into halftime, and the game was absolutely blown out by them, and it was all about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Who Taylor Swift sitting next to Travis Kelce's mom. Woo! How long is this relationship going to last? Will it last till the playoffs? That's the question. Will Kelce and Swiftie last till the playoffs? I don't know. And will it affect Kelce? If he has a bad breakup with his superstar girlfriend, is he going to have a bad performance on the field? I doubt it. These guys are a machine. They look well oiled now. They're 2-1, while the Bears moved to 0-3. And I said earlier, that Broncos-Bears game next week, wow, it's going to be a barn burner. Chiefs look good. Patrick Mahomes looked good. The whole offense was just clicking, and I get it. It's against the Bears, but dangerous team. Chiefs look dangerous. They look really, really good, and a team that looks really – I'm not going to harp on that for too while. Look, the main story there is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, obviously. Let's move to a bigger story. Aaron Rodgers goes down early in game number 1, 5 plays in, and down with Rodgers goes the New York Jets' hopes and dreams, because this cannot get much worse. This is an ugly, ugly performance by this team, man. The New England Patriots, they're an okay team. They're not terrible. The Jets are bad. Zach Wilson. Oof. So the question becomes, do they go out and trade? I'm hearing a lot of trade rumors about the Jets maybe going out and getting Kirk Cousins. What? Why? Are you trying to win right now? Garrett Wilson's young. Give him time. Go get a tank. If I'm the Jets, I'm tanking. I'm tanking, and I'm going for one of these top 4 or 5. There's 4 or 5 quarterbacks coming out this year in the draft that are NFL ready. I'm going to get one. If I'm the Jets, I'm leaving Zach Wilson in, and we're playing out the season. Let's rumble. 18 for 36, 157 yards. Give me that every single game. We may win a couple of them, but we're going to have a good draft pick. If I'm the Jets, that's where I'm going. And then, look, if Aaron Rodgers comes back, you get an incredible quarterback coming out of college. He sits for 1 year under Aaron Rodgers, and the Jets can have their Aaron Rodgers year and hopefully do well. But this guy will learn from one of the greatest to ever do it, and he sits a year. Aaron Rodgers flies off into the sunset, New York, and retires. And then, boom, here comes your starting quarterback that you draft. That has sat for a year and learned under Aaron Rodgers. That's phenomenal. That's the plan if I'm the Jets. Zach Wilson's finishing out the season. I'm not trading. I'm not trying to win now. You got your running back coming off a torn ACL. You got backup him as Cooks. Dalvin Cook. Sorry, not Cooks, but Cook. I wait if I'm the Jets. I let Zach Wilson do his thing. Let Breece Hall get a little bit more legs underneath him. And I roll with this season knowing that those first 4 or 5 plays of game number 1 was all I got. And Rodgers went down and down with it with the hopes and dreams. It's on to next year. Hope that Rodgers can somewhat, I guess, his Achilles can heal and he can be back and ready to go next year. That's what I'm doing if I'm the Jets. I'm not getting into all this other stuff. I'm not trading. I'm waiting for the draft. I want my draft pick. Get Drake May from North Carolina. He's coming out. I don't know if you have the number 1 pick. Look, Arizona's doing great. Maybe the Jets and the Arizona Cardinals are tied. So maybe the Bears are now 0-3. They don't need a quarterback. Well, maybe. Who knows? But if you're the Jets, you roll with Wilson. You tank, not on purpose, but sort of purposely. And then you get an incredible quarterback coming out of college. He works under Rodgers for a year. Boom. You have a great year next year. You'll pack the stadium with Rodgers' farewell tour. And then the year after that, you got your franchise QB. Roll with Wilson if I'm the Jets. No trading involved. Let Breece Hall get his legs back. Let Garrett Wilson get a little bit more acclimated in that offense. Boom. Good to go. Jets are 1-2. Lost 10-15 to the New England Patriots. Who, by the way, Bill Belichick, that guy's a treasure. He was asked about Taylor Swift, and if you haven't seen his comments, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Taylor Swift, she's so popular that she's like taken over the NFL. Like, this is wild. Welcome to Monday. Overreaction Monday. Here we are. Look, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you missed anything, go to Sports with Balls on your podcast arena. All the shows are on there. And, of course, right when this live show's done, I will pop it up there. If you missed anything, go back and listen to the first half of the show. We're 30 minutes in. Want to thank HoBuzz. Go to HoBuzzCO.com. Incredible seltzer. I want to thank Christian's Tailgate. Absolutely incredible Christian's Tailgate. These guys, look, they got 5 Houston area locations. Incredible place to watch your games. Go get drink specials. They got karaoke. They got beer pong. Everything. Place is absolutely amazing. Go to christianstailgate.com. Also want to thank Wes Dunn. WestonCG.com. 832-534-2374. Fencing, roofing work. Call Wes. Get your stuff done. And, of course, like I said, HoBuzz right there. Go to HoBuzzCO.com. Great seltzer. Non-alcoholic. THC infused. It's actually really good. All right, moving on. Halfway through the show. Well, maybe. Yeah. You guys want to get into some baseball? I'm going to talk about the Buffaloes here in a little bit. That's coming. Don't worry.
Let's get into some of this baseball. Because the Major League Baseball playoffs are coming. And the collapse of the Houston Astros is monumental right now. We were talking about the Texas Rangers earlier. They were in first place the entire year until their collapse. And now the Houston Astros are 3-7 in their last 10 games, 2.5 games out of first and a half game away from blowing the entire playoffs. And they start a series tonight with the Seattle Mariners, who are the team right behind them. So if they blow that series, they're out of the playoffs. This is insane. This is the 2022 World Series champions. Last year's World Series champs. And they might be out of the playoffs. And the roster hasn't changed that much. They lost Yuli. It's just Dusty Baker. Look, I'm an Astros fan. A lot of people aren't. Dusty Baker's done a bad job managing this team. I think 7 to 10 wins or losses in this case are on Dusty Baker's hands. And that is your difference between first place in this division and a nice seed in the playoffs to being a half a game out of the playoffs. This Astros-Mariners series is, the playoffs don't start for another, 12, 14 days? But this Astros-Mariners series is a playoff series. Let's just be honest. The Astros have to have this. And if you're the Mariners, you got to have it too. It's going to be fun to watch. It's in Seattle. Starts tonight, 8:40 Central. This is good baseball. There's 2 Monday Night Football games on tonight. We'll get into that in a second. But there's also some great baseball going on this evening. That's the National League playoff race. I'm sorry, we'll get into that. The American League playoff race that's it right there. That's your American League. Toronto Blue Jays are in. They're 2 games up. Tampa Bay Rays have already clinched. Houston Astros and Seattle Mariners are battling for the last spot in that playoff race in the American League. That's going to be fun. And they play each other starting tonight. Moving on, National League. Phillies are in. Diamondbacks, Cubs, Marlins, Reds. Padres, Giants still have a shot, but they're 5 games out. Chicago Cubs, man. What a surprise. That is a blast to watch them. They also won me some money this weekend, so thank you, Chicago. My buddy Thomas Quinlan, I know he's a massive Cubs fan. He's excited because the Cubs did not start off the season very well at all, but now they have a plus 101 run differential. They've won 3 in a row. As of right now, they are in the playoffs as of right now, with Miami Marlins being 1 game back of them, and the Cincinnati Reds 2.5 games back. The Diamondbacks are a half game in front. So Cubs got a good shot here. Cubs got a real good shot. Except for they start a series with Atlanta. And Atlanta is one of the best teams I've seen in Major League Baseball in a very, very, very long time. This is reminiscent of the 2017 Houston Astros. What is it, the 1914 or whatever New York Yankees everybody talks about? This team's good. Look, we can talk about the playoffs all we want. You can talk about National League. You can talk about American League. Who's getting in, who's doing what. I don't know who's stopping this team. It might be just a foregone conclusion to watch your favorite team in the playoffs, but at the end of the day, the Atlanta Braves may sweep the playoffs. They are that good, folks. They are phenomenal. They've already reached 100 wins. The Baltimore Orioles are three games away from 100. They're the closest. The Los Angeles Dodgers being 4 games. By the way, Dodgers are pretty quiet. They've got a plus. The Atlanta Braves, here's the run differentials, the top run differentials. Atlanta Braves plus 230. Los Angeles Dodgers plus 198. So Atlanta way, way above everybody else. That team is, and they're pitching. Golly, man. Good luck. Good luck to everybody. Atlanta Braves are my pick to win the World Series. If Houston would have got it together a little bit ago and kind of gone on a run and been 7-3 the last 10 instead of 3-7, I would say that the Astros, because of their experience going into the playoffs, would probably be one of my favorites. But man, the only other team that's hotter than Atlanta is Baltimore, and they're just young. That's the issue with Baltimore. They're young and they don't have the pitching that Atlanta does. So I just think that Atlanta's got a cakewalk, man. The Atlanta Dodgers series will be a fun baseball series to watch. So get ready for that. MLB playoffs right around the corner. Colorado Buffaloes. Deion Sanders, the Deion train, has slowed down in Boulder. They got crushed. Absolutely crushed this weekend. I mean, look, Oregon took it personal. I love Deion's response after the game. He said, we got killed, and now it's time to respond. And look, he said, get at me now. Get at me now because we're coming. And I understand that it was great response, and he is coming. But not now, man. The Colorado Buffaloes didn't score a point until the fourth quarter. 13-0 first, 22-0. It was 35-0 at halftime, folks. 42-6 final score. Oregon, number 10 in the nation, now number 9. 4-0. Great Oregon team. Man, Bo Nix, that's what I was talking about a little bit ago with the New York Jets. There are NFL-ready quarterbacks in the NCAA that are coming out, Bo Nix being one of them. These kids are good. They are NFL-ready. There's like 4 of them. USC's got one. Oregon's got one. Notre Dame's got one. There's a few more. So if I'm the Jets, I go after one of these guys. Leave Zach Wilson in. But Colorado moves out of the top 25 after a devastating defeat. Doesn't get any easier. USC's on the docket coming up. Number 8 USC, by the way. And if you thought that, I don't know the spread yet. I don't. But it was 21 points for the Oregon game. Let me see if it's on here. Oh, here it is, 22. Now what are you taking? Now what are you going to do? Are you taking USC minus 22? Because Vegas killed it on that Oregon game. Everybody took Colorado. Some people doing money line Colorado over Oregon. The over-under in that game, 73.5. I'm going to wait a couple of days. But right now, Colorado doesn't have Travis Hunter. Number 1 offensive threat, number 1 defensive shutdown guy. I'm taking USC. They're better than Oregon, and it's only a one more point spread. That's it. It's in Colorado. That's going to be a great game, man. That's going to be a star-studded event. Number 8 USC at Colorado, 11 a.m. on Fox on Saturday. I'll be watching that one. I think Colorado puts up a better fight. I would hope. I think Deion gets into them a little bit this week, and they put up a better fight. I think Shedeur probably has a great game. By the way, Heisman candidate, sorry, Shedeur. That's it. And I don't think it was going to – look, it wasn't going to be that way the whole season. They had a nice game against TCU. TCU was not a good football team. They had a great game against Nebraska. They had a really close game against Colorado State, who's a decent team. But, man, that number 10 Oregon got blown out. Number 8 USC, they'll probably lose that game. Arizona State, Stanford, UCLA, great football team. Oregon State after that, great football team. They finished their last 4 games with 3 teams in the top 15. That's going to – Oregon State, Washington State, and Utah. And in between that, Arizona, the last 4 games. Colorado's got a dinger of a schedule. So the train slowed down. Texas beating Oklahoma. Awesome. Great for them. University of Texas, after that loss to Alabama last year and Quinn Ewers going down when they should have won that game, it's been a rough stretch for them. And now Sarkisian's got that team on its way, man. Number 3 in the nation. Woo. I think they're number 3. Let me look real quick. Yep, number 3. 2 votes for number 1. Rankings go as follow. Georgia, of course. Michigan, they look decent. I like Michigan. Both of them 4-0, obviously. Texas 4-0 at number 3. And then Ohio State, who barely squeaked out a victory in Notre Dame this weekend. Great game. Great football game. They're number 4. Florida State, Penn State, Washington, 5, 6, 7. USC, like I said, at 8. And then Oregon at number 9. So Colorado has to face the number 9 team last week, number 18 this week. Notre Dame following to number 11 after that loss. Alabama's up one spot after beating Ole Miss. They're number 12, followed by LSU, Oklahoma, and North Carolina is at 4-0. Washington State's at 4-0. Duke, who's a good football team, 4-0. Miami, 4-0, another good football team. Look, we've got some great college games coming up in the next few weeks. I'm excited for that. Very excited for that. All right, let's get into some NFL Monday Night Foosball. The Philadelphia Eagles, there's 2 games tonight. Excited about this. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2-0 versus 2-0. It's in Tampa Bay. The surprising Baker Mayfield-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who would have thought this? 2-0 with a lot of momentum. Get this. This spread's 5 points. I don't know which way you're going, but I'm leaning towards the Eagles on this. And I just don't think the Eagles have put together a good football game yet. At all. I think they've looked mediocre at best. Quez Watkins is out tonight, wide receiver for Philadelphia, and Boston Scott is out tonight as well, running back for Philadelphia. Devin White, linebacker for Tampa Bay, is out of the game. That's a huge loss. But I like the Eagles in this game. I think they put together a decent game. But listen to these stats by Baker. Very, very efficient. 47 and 68, 490, and 3 touchdowns. Not turning the ball over. He doesn't have an interception. Rasheed White, 34 carries, 112 yards on the season. Mike Evans. Man, this guy. All he does is put up 1,000-yard seasons. 12 receptions, 237 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I expect Mike Evans to have a nice night. A.J. Brown needs to kind of come together tonight. We saw Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown kind of get into it last week. Maybe A.J. Brown gets his wish and Jalen Hurts goes to him. Got a question. Jeff, totally different league as fantasy football-wise. Start and sit. A.J. Brown or Nankua? Is that how you pronounce his name? That kid for the Los Angeles Rams? And that kid's good. Woo. A.J. Brown or Nunca. That's a good one. Let me get to that in a second. The Eagles and Buccaneers, because we'll talk about the Rams and Bengals in a second. Eagles and Bucks, Baker Mayfield versus Jalen Hurts. What are you taking? I like Philadelphia. I think it's a get-right game, and that sounds weird because the Bucks are playing so well. But the Bucks have played Minnesota, who's not that good of a football team, and they played one of the worst teams in all of football in Chicago. They play a very good Philadelphia Eagle football team. Now, the way the script has gone this weekend, and the NFL being as drunk as it was yesterday, the Eagles may lose to the Bucks, and Baker Mayfield goes 3-0. Wow. I don't know yet. I think I'm leaning towards Philadelphia. Man, I'll do some prop bets in this, and I haven't looked at the prop bets too much. But I'm going to post my gambling video here in a little bit for tonight's game. So those of y'all that don't watch it, go to TikTok, go to Sports with Balls on all your social media channels: TikTok, Facebook, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I'll have the video up there later on today on some prop bets. But I like Philadelphia minus the 5 right now. I just feel like Philadelphia comes in there and does some things correctly, and they haven't put together a good game yet. And the Buccaneers, bad football team in Minnesota, and then they beat one of the worst teams in the NFL, if not the worst, the Chicago Bears. Philadelphia Eagles squeaked by New England. Remember, they started that game off 17-0. We thought that was the Eagles were starting to blow it out the door, and then New England came back. And then, of course, they beat Minnesota last week. So both these teams have beaten Minnesota. I think Philadelphia minus 5. That's where I'm going with them. I like Philadelphia right now. And like I said, I'll post my video later, so stay tuned to Sports with Balls. 2 games tonight, like I said, an hour after the 6:15 Central start on ABC. The 7:15 Central start, the Rams and Bengals start their game on ESPN in Cincinnati, Ohio. Question of the game, Joe Burrow. Will Joe Burrow start this game? I doubt it. I say no. I absolutely say no. Joe Burrow doesn't start this game. Give me the Rams plus 2.5. In fact, I would take the Rams plus the 2.5 right now because Burrow's not going to start this game. Why? You're playing for down the road, but then again, look, if he doesn't start this game, the Bengals go 0-3. Your odds of making the playoffs at 0-3 are drastically worse than if you're 1-2. Cincinnati Bengals may have a problem on their hand. If Burrow starts and then re-aggravates it, then he's out for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not saying you write off the season, but man, if Jamar Chase owners for fantasy football, ouch, golly. And getting back to Kevin's question about Nunca or A.J. Brown, go Nunca. The weather looks great, 71 degrees, cloudy. I see this being the Rams have put up some numbers. This team looks to be back on track. They scored 23 against San Francisco. They scored 30 against Seattle. Seattle's not a bad football team either. This kid Nunca is, absolutely on fire. The kid's playing really, really good. He has 266 receiving yards, leads them. He'll probably get 8-9 targets tonight. That's why I say him. I don't know if A.J. Brown's going to get 8 or 9 targets. You would hope, but he'll probably get 5 to 7. Look, I don't think you can go wrong picking either one of those guys. I think it should be all right. He says, I'm still not confident in Brown. Yeah, look, if he doesn't get the ball in the first half, him and Jalen are gonna have some words. That's for sure. But Puka Nakua. Puka Nakua. Can somebody get him on camera so we can maybe find out how to pronounce this guy's name right? But all right, here's my picks for tonight's games. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles minus the 5. Then give me the Los Angeles Rams plus the 2.5. And again, man, look, guys, the NFL has been absolutely insane. The over-under in the Eagles-Bucks game is 44.5. Ooh, I don't know. And it's the over-under in the Bengals game is 43.5. Do what you will. I'm going to do some more research on that. I'm going to post my video later on exactly what I'm going to do as far as maybe player props and some other stuff. So stay tuned to Sports with Balls. Go follow it on all your social media channels. Look, guys, if you missed anything on this show, we went over Colorado, NCAA football rankings, Texas. We went Notre Dame. We talked about the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, Sean Payton and Russell Wilson there in Denver. What's going on? Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson. We talked about the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Jets, what they're going to do. And playoffs. Look, if you missed anything, go back to Sports with Balls on your podcast arena. This show will be up ASAP, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Sports with Balls, guys. I'm Jeff Michael. We'll see you tomorrow.